Here are some of the most painful examples of when things go wrong. Number 9. Shot live on Facebook. When I say shot live on Facebook, sometimes I mean it literally in another sense. Some people should probably know by now that not everything needs to be live streamed. That and not talking trash to someone with a gun. If only this woman from Chicago realized this, she would have saved herself a lot of trouble. This woman decided to live stream herself crossing a street in the Washington Park neighborhood of Chicago. She essentially encountered another woman in a car who she seemed to know. The discussion between them escalated quickly. When threatened by the gun the woman in the car held in front of her, she started laughing and shouting, "I ain't afraid of that gun. What you gonna do?" Needless to say, this didn't end well. A clear sound of a shot is heard on the video, which is confirmed by the woman's loud cries of being shot. This is basically Chappelle's real-life version of when keeping it real goes wrong. Well, at least there's a bit of a consolation. If it weren't for the live stream the woman was doing, police wouldn't have been able to identify the shooter. Number 8. Iron Man 3 premiere. Cosplay. It'd be a huge understatement to say that some people like to make movies come to life. Back in 2013, a movie theater in Jefferson, Missouri decided to hire a group of actors to dress like Marvel's popular Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, armed with fake guns and props. They were expecting this publicity stunt to make moviegoers feel as if they were part of the action. And they did, except just not the way they expected. Considering this stunt was performed less than a year after the shooting that happened during the premiere of The Dark Knight Rises, it's safe to say this was a really dumb move. People started calling 911 immediately. Obviously, storming into a room with fake guns and in the style of action movie characters gave a lot of people a lot of stress, including a veteran who said that the event triggered his PTSD. Obviously, the theater issued an apology and a refund to everyone, and hopefully, the marketing department got someone new with better brains. Number 7. Showing off money on Facebook. Here's life lesson number 178 in life. If you're going to show off a large sum of cash on social media, don't give away any traces of where you live. I don't understand why people need social media validation, but then again, that's just me. At least when rappers do it, they're doing it for their brand. Anyways, one guy in New York decided to brag about the $70,000 in cash he had earned from his handbag business on Facebook. The 20-year-old Bronx resident, feeling great about his cash, had no idea what was in store for him just a few hours after posting the picture on his Facebook profile. 3 men broke into his place that same night and beat him into telling them where his stash was. He was repeatedly struck with a frying pan, and he still had to give up his cash. He later told police officers that this might have something to do with the picture he had posted online. Wow, the brains on this guy. What was that line Biggie rapped about? Rule number uno, never let no one know how much dough you hold. Biggie wasn't wrong. That cheddar just always breeds jealousy. Moral of the story is, being flashy on social media has zero payoff. Number 6. Logan Paul. Where do I begin with Logan Paul? YouTuber Logan Paul has had a brush or two with very risky situations, and one certainly had a lot of backlash. Back in 2014, Paul received some serious backlash for aggressively entering a woman's car without her permission in a Walmart parking lot. You'd think he'd learn his lesson, right? Of course not. On a recently highly criticized trip to Japan, in which he's seen mocking many locals, Logan went to visit a very popular forest, known as a place where many people commit suicide. In the video that's since been taken down, he's seen laughing and making fun of someone who's passed. The backlash that followed quickly made him realize he acted like a complete idiot. Twitter went ballistic, with thousands of persons condemning the video and asking YouTube to take him off for good. Logan's video apology wasn't well received either. Can millennials act any dumber? Probably. Number 5. LifeLock CEO. Advertising has always been a field where businesses try to showcase their creativity in order to attract more attention. Sometimes their ideas may seem a little off, but they end up working. This wasn't the case for LifeLock CEO back in 2007. LifeLock, an identity protection software, introduced one of the riskiest campaigns anyone could have ever imagined. Their ads showed a message from Todd David, the company's CEO, sharing his social security number and guaranteeing that no one would be able to steal it or do anything with it. Well, hackers were able to do exactly just that, 13 times to be exact. The first case that was reported was a $500 bad check. From then on, a chain of illegal transactions carried on. He got calls from credit companies, phone and internet providers, banks, and even a gift basket company, asking for him to pay bills that were in his name. The overall total reached a figure close to $5,000, which actually isn't that bad considering so many people saw his social security number. As if that weren't enough, LifeLock received a $12 million penalty by the FTC for deceptive advertising. Number 4. Slim Jxmmi loses 100K chain. We've all lost a thing or two in our lives. Who hasn't misplaced a pencil or a pen? Or maybe something of yours got stolen. But I bet you've never lost $100,000 worth of stuff crowd surfing. Apparently this is exactly what happened to Slim Jxmmi, one half Ray Shrimmer. He had a very expensive crowd surfing experience during a concert in Paris, one that resulted in him losing a custom-made diamond chain, worth somewhere around $100,000. Caught up in the moment, he decided to dive right into his fans, only to have someone take his chain from off his neck. Although he tried to convince the person who took it to bring it back by offering a special visit with them on their tour, that strategy didn't work at all. After this, Slim decided to throw some money into the mix by initially offering 5,000 euros, which he then increased to 50,000 euros. Meh, you win some, you lose some, then you dim some, that's what they say. He didn't seem to be too upset, because he did tweet, quote, "Yes, I hit 100K crowd surf." Number 3. Live reporting gone wrong. News reporting has gotten edgier with the years, which is why it comes as no surprise that some journalists even risk their lives to try to catch on camera the most dangerous events. Sometimes, these stunts can turn into very awkward situations that put their lives in danger. Item Lackover is an Israeli news reporter from Channel 1 who decided to show how a knife-proof vest worked on a live broadcast. The owner of the company that produced the vest would stab him live in order to demonstrate the effectiveness of the vest. Or so he thought. Yaniv Montaco, the owner of the manufacturing company, showed him the knife, ensuring him nothing would go wrong. He then proceeded to stab him a few times, but on the third attempt, the knife's tip went straight through the vest. The broadcast was cut, but just before that, Lackover gave one of the most frightful glances at the camera, making this one of the most awkward moments on Israeli television. Lackover later reported that he didn't receive any serious injury, but let's learn from this dude's experience. How about let someone else be the guinea pig for a new product? Number 2. Marcos MAIDANA stacks. Whenever you're joking around, you have to make sure people are in on the joke, especially if it involves Floyd Mayweather. Marcos MAIDANA, the Argentinian boxer who lost his last 2 professional fights against Mayweather, decided to make fun of him. He wanted to mock Mayweather by posting a similar photo of him acting like Mayweather, basically a picture with a bunch of cash in front of him. MAIDANA thought it would be a funny idea to do this, but his fans didn't think it was funny at all. He posted online a picture of him sitting with a huge stack of money in front of him. His fans were extremely disturbed by the post, as they thought it was tasteless and arrogant. MAIDANA later issued an apology, in which he tried to explain that it was a joke between him and Mayweather, a joke that unfortunately no one seemed to get. Although these kind of stunts are common with Mayweather, followers of the boxing world weren't pleased seeing MAIDANA do the same. The obvious thing is that this just didn't fit MAIDANA's image at all. Mayweather has been flashy since day one, even when he was known as Pretty Boy Floyd. Number 1. SOULJA Boy robbed live. When it comes to showing off, you'd probably immediately think rappers, because come on, who are the people that almost always show off chains and cash? You'd also expect that they're experts at it, since they're always trying way too hard to show off a lifestyle that they're trying to live. That's the word here, trying. SOULJA Boy ended up proving that things can get really weird when you show off a lifestyle that you clearly don't live. Back in early 2017, fresh in the middle of his Twitter feud with Chris Brown, SOULJA Boy decided to do a live stream on Instagram with some supposed gang members. In the video, he's seen walking down the street along with some other guys when another guy shouts out his name. SOULJA Boy decided to approach him, yelling out essentially, "What's going on, man? They say SOULJA Boy ain't from the hood." And yeah, that's when everything went off the rails. When SOULJA Boy put his arm around the other dude The guy threw his arm off while pushing him and his phone to the ground. All of a sudden, the live stream was cut. The next few minutes are as confusing as you can imagine. Yelling is going back and forth, and SOULJA Boy seemed obviously scared. Although no firearms or guns are seen in the video, what we can tell is that it's probably safe to assume that SOULJA Boy didn't get his phone back, since the last image on the live stream wasn't SOULJA Boy. Hey, here's what's next.
Artificial third breast implanted. Jxmmi, age 21, was dismissed as fake by many people. They claimed that the third breast was a wearable prosthetic, especially after she reported a 3-breast prosthesis stolen when her bags went missing at the Tampa airport in 2014. She obviously